Channel, and with me now is Dr. Ewan McGaughey, who's a reader in law at King's College London, who specialises in labour and enterprise law. Thank you so much for joining us here in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Now, what do you foresee as happening in the coming weeks and months when it comes to the broad industrial action taking place if the pay demands aren't met? How much longer can they continue?
That's a really good question, and I think that we've got to also see that energy bills are set to rise next year. The government has said that the energy bill cap rose from 1,277 last year to 2,500 this year. There's another increase next year, so people are going to want to have an inflation-protected pay rise, and they're likely to take action until there is something that can make sure that they're not freezing and sneezing at home and they don't have to choose between heating and eating.
How much longer can they be sustained, though? Because, of course, when workers are there on the picket line, they're losing pay themselves. And equally, if the government doesn't agree to negotiate around the table, if the employers don't agree to meet that pay rise, we've got a stalemate that may continue, but only as long as the workers on strike can make it continue.
Yeah, this is true, and what we absolutely don't want in our labour relations system is the stalemate, like you say. I mean, you should have good faith, constructive dialogue, and an industrial relations system that encourages that. So, what we need to do short term is find the money to give people the pay rise so that they aren't further plunged into poverty. And of course, this comes after 12 years of the longest pay cut for British workers since the Industrial Revolution. It's historic levels of pay falling. And then we've got the inflation again this year caused by the rise in energy bills and the failure to keep a cap. So, what you need is a long-term view of collaborative industrial relations. That means more sectoral collective bargaining, not cracking down on strike action and collective action for fair pay, but a system where everybody has a voice at work. And you also need a government that is prepared to meet with people and not say, we're going to cut your pay another 5% this year.
And the government has said repeatedly in various different ways that this is unaffordable. They say that the demands for the pay increases across the sectors wouldn't be fair on other workers. That's what they say. What's your response to that?
Well, Steve Barclay was talking about, and Rishi Sunak was talking about, a £28 billion figure.
Which has been disputed.
Which absolutely has been disputed for giving everybody in the public sector an inflation-protected wage rise. Now, actually, that figure of 28 billion is more like 10 billion in reality, because the government then gets tax receipts from income tax, VAT, and national insurance. So really the figure is about 10 billion. And you've got to compare that to the £40 billion that two oil companies, BP and Shell, made just this year so far, plus the billions the big six energy companies. And so, as well as raising the energy bill cap, the government could have been, or chose to not tax the excess profits of the big polluters. And so, there is money there to be found. It's actually not taxpayers that are footing the bill, or could be footing the bill. It's really big energy companies that are taking so much money off the British public.
Well, thank you so much, Ewan, for coming in to speak to us. That's Dr. Ewan McGaughey, a reader in law at King's College London, specialising in labour and enterprise law. Thank you.